Good day. Noah the Great here, taking a look at one of Nick's Clan Wars battles. Just want to look over how he played, what he did, maybe offer some suggestions. Um, just starting up from the very beginning, Clan Wars ends up being a little bit different because you don't necessarily know what to expect from them. And also, unlike random battles, they're theoretically playing as a team, so it can be a lot more difficult to surprise people or do something strange. The first thing I would note off the bat is it seems like there's maybe more AP rounds than heat rounds ratio. I think when I run the 140, it tends to be more like 15 AP rounds. On this map, there's not going to be too many super heavy, so I doubt you're going to run through heat rounds anyways. But interesting note. Also, I put my repair kit on the 5 key so I can quick repair tracks. And if you got the money, premium consumables work well. Especially for in some of these kind of competitive games. The fire extinguisher doesn't necessarily provide as much benefit for something like the 140. Maybe a little bit more for heavy, but if you got a fire extinguishing crew, a high enough per crew in your tier 10s, it tends to be better to run rations, but it also does add up on the credit, so might not be worth it. So let's see how the replay goes. As probably to be expected, I don't expect too much action to happen towards the start of this game, or a lot of action to start, right? With Clan Wars matches, it either tends to be that you're both doing an aggressive similar style, or not. I've flipped myself on rocks like that before. Saving that time's not worth it in my opinion. Just drive the main path. First things first, I don't think you're really protected. Let me look out. You might be protected, but I would shift over a little bit and shift back a little bit. First off, they might blind shoot, so you're a little bit protected from blind shoot. Vegas next to you will probably be the one hit. But if they have stuff coming up here in the middle, they might catch the side of your tank through here. You definitely also do not want to block the Sturv shot. The Sturv's more important than you in this type of position. Clearly they have a lot of heavies going there. Now if this was a random battle, I'd probably dip into like the D5 trench and try and farm them, right? But not being so, it's a little bit different, right? You'll go back to your camera. There's not much you can do. I'd probably stay in the brush. Stay in here in this brush and provide a little bit of spotting. Maybe have shots at the super conch. Looks like you did notice. He's aware. You're probably not gonna have shots, and if you're gonna hit the super conch, you're gonna need heat. Because you're not gonna get the side of his turret. You're gonna have to send the shot between the heat guards and the center. So AP isn't what I would have loaded here. I'd default to heat. Oh, he's gonna back up soon. You gotta. Yeah, I would have taken the shot a little bit sooner with how much he was angled and the fact that you had AP rounds. You were gonna struggle to go through a super angled front plate. So I'd have taken more of a snapshot with that. Right? His 6th sense pops up 3 seconds, which means you have about a second and a half to aim in, and then you have to take the shot. But other than that, yeah, not much going on here. They definitely have, a good chunk of tanks in that top area. The rest of their tanks are taking a defensive stance. Good tracking shot. That was well aimed. Yep, trying to retrack is the right call. Oh, that's unfortunate. Hopefully the Sturv was aiming to retrack as well. Okay, so 2 of the 140s moved back. I'm a little surprised that you didn't go with those 2 140s. Because the thing is, you're not really providing much of a benefit here. If they dump into your heavies on A5 maybe, but it probably would have been you worth joining the other mediums. All of them, maybe you're about to get shots here. And again, if you're shooting heat, you'd have a chance of going in. You'd have a chance of penning the E3. AP just isn't quite gonna have a shot at that range against that tank. At this point, you should be rotating back. You see two mediums, you see a pretty heavy engagement. I'd be looking to move towards the backside of the rock, right? Because you know there's a 279E in the area, and there he's spotted, right? There's clearly going to be more than the 2 or 3 tanks, right? And okay, there's the rest of them. You know they're behind. Yeah, at this point you should be moving. With AP rounds, it's not worth shooting. The thing to notice is it's just at this moment you're not applying pressure and you're not guarding anything because the Sturv was there. If the Sturv was not there, then okay, it makes sense. And moment of respect for that T100 driving now through their base. Okay, now you got shots. Yep, farm them. Aim for the side of the turret. Maybe you can get an ammo rack, or probably your best bet here. Nope. And be careful poking, because they're definitely spotting you. But again, at the moment, it's not that it's bad to kind of be in this overarching position. Yep. Yeah, no problem about poking there. If you did want to poke, what you could do is you could effectively angle to the side. If you turned your tank to the left a little bit and did more of like a side scraping out, or made sure you didn't give. Because where did he pen you? I'm not seeing it, so he must have gotten your track. So it's just a little bit too far out, gave him the pen. Yeah, and again, you see those heavies pushing in. So at this point as well, again, this would be another good point to turn and go back to base. Yeah, you should be with the Sturv. But being a Clan Wars match, yeah, you're not going to pen the Super Conk without heat in that angle. But being a Clan Wars match, it also may have been called for you to stay in this area. But it's easy to have wishful thinking and just hope, okay, well maybe they will get spotted soon. Finishing off the E3 wouldn't be the worst. I mean, yeah, shooting the side, you should be able to pen with AP. Oh, he's just going to give it to you. Nice. That is fortunate. So I guess the question is, what are you hoping to accomplish here? Yeah, they have the position, so you're not going to do the best, but it's tough because it's behind, or the team's behind. So I'd look to try and make a play. I would look to join the Sturv and basically sack some of my hit points for him. And it looks like you're starting to do that. You want to stay towards these divots. It's getting a little too close to the 279, but you definitely don't want to be below him. And switching over to heat, that's definitely needed here. He's giving you, well, he is giving you all day to aim in. Yep, just don't panic. Yep, good to keep the focus fire. That's good. What are you doing here? What you don't want to do is you don't want to block your teammate. So that good. I like the spot you went on there, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to stay going sideways here and blocking your ally from shooting. You're also hugging the rock and helping you against these tanks that are going to be coming up here shortly. So I like that a lot. And a good kill. Unfortunate to lose the light tank. So at this point, the biggest threat is probably Artie. Just because whatever you do, You're going to struggle to fight those two heavies anyways, and Artie is just going to make any sort of engagement almost impossible, right? Fair thing to note, if you're in a 1vx situation and anyone tries to tell you what they're doing, even if they're a light tank driver, don't worry about listening to them, right? Play to what you're thinking and what you know you can do, right? So here, this is a good spot to hopefully pick up a free shot. Oh, he didn't even see where you're coming from. That's a tough spot because you could stay there. I probably would have stayed there and tried to go for a second hit, but the problem is if they both pop both on cap and you don't get that second hit, you can easily be sitting there until it's too late. So this is not a bad drive around. Spot an Artie. Yeah, I'd pause to take the shot at the Artie. Both Artie spotted. Where did he fire? Good kill. I take a look at him. That's unfortunate. Versus the Artie in those situations, it may have been worth switching back to AP if you're thinking about it. And actually, you're starting to run lower on shells, so that maybe would have been worth it. Oh well, live and learn. So, one thing here before we turn in, of course, I know where their tanks are at, but where do you think they're at, right? Well, they saw you kill their Artie, so you're clearly not sitting at the E9 area anymore, right? They know you're not sitting down the ridge waiting for them to pop up. One of them's on cap, and the other one, right, is probably somewhere behind this hill, is either at, E8, E9, or back more at D0. Now, which basically means, well, you either approach through here or you come in through here, right? You got 30 seconds, so you don't necessarily have to do your first shot at the cap, but pretty close. So, yeah, and that's a real rough to pop up. Really difficult to quickly snapshot and get the proper hit. And even that, I mean, you had a chance to pen, but in those cases, you almost have to take the time to aim for the lower plate. Because the thing is, at his health, which you knew from seeing it before, he's a two-shot, right? So if you aim in, you hit the lower plate, even if he shoots you back, you have plenty of time to hit him a second time, and you lose some health, but you get over it, right? And now you're in a position where he can start to hug in on you, and he shoots your turret. It worked out, right? But there's some of those times where it's more worth making sure you hit the shot versus having to deal with him face hugging you. In 5 seconds, you have to get up, you have to get the reset. 2-1, you have to fire, and of course, get it. Nice shot. Careful about shooting heat through buildings. One thing to note, the place you're looking to shoot is in the middle of these parts. If he stays far enough down, or if he stays at this angle, you could probably actually shoot an AP round through here. You're going to struggle to pen this at the angle, and if he gives you more of the lower plate, you could hit that with heat. So you're looking at heat here, AP, or shooting HE. If they didn't have Artie, you could be doing HE play and it might work against them, but them having Artie means you can't do a prolonged fight. Quick cut in with the 3D model to show what I'm talking about. So with heat loaded on the 140, depending on where you're shooting aside there, you can get up to about a 60 to 70% chance to pen, or hitting down to this lower plate underneath. When talking about the lower plate, you can see 100% chance, and a little bit lower here. If you try to shoot heat into the side, of course it's not going to pen unless you can get this upper rim. If you have AP rounds, you're going to really struggle to go through any of these shots you could still pen the lower plate. You could pen the side, and if he's over angled by enough, and even with that, you don't have a pen. You still got to hit this upper part. Fight. Of course, he fired a shot, so yeah, there, he fired the shot. So I'd aim in the shot. Whoops. Okay, pause. Yeah, so that's exactly what I mean. I mean, you're looking at a red shot. You're looking at something that just isn't going to pen. It's not an easy shot, but you got to be looking to pen those or hitting the cupola, right? That's what you got to be going for to have a chance to pen. Unless, oh, nice. So that shot, right, hit. You can't see it, but basically hit underneath the heat guard. That's a good place to pen as well. So with a minute and a half left, you could go to try and kill their Artie, which is what I think a lot of people are calling for. I don't think that's the right play anyways, because there's too much time to be wasted. And you got his lower plate. Oh, that's good. Right? The same place you shot the other time, underneath the plate. Good play, good shooting. And then of course just going to finish off Artie. So we'll speed up for that. You know the Artie's one shot from when you saw him before. So there's no point in doing something like, say, loading an HE to try and high roll, right? You just stick with AP. Super Conks, you're just going to shoot the top. And well, let's see where he gets spotted, right? Okay, the biggest thing is in these last fights. Yeah, probably should have penned, but oh well. With these fights, you don't want to get close to them, and you don't want to give your side. If ideally, you don't want to get hit at all, but you could probably side scrape this, not take lethal, and kill him. But it's also a gun carrier, and they're notorious for getting kills. I don't like the idea of running through here, because again, you just trap yourself. What I would typically do is I would keep the front of my armor pointed towards him, look like I'm side scraping this rock trying to find shots, and then drive backwards around here, go around the back of this rock, and then pop out side scraping from this rock to shoot and kill him. Even though his gun's looking at me, heat's not really necessary. Any way that you're going to have this shot on his side, you have the turret. So, you know, if you went fully unspotted, then came back around here, and then popped out side scraping here after waiting like 20 seconds, there's no way he'd really have a good chance at killing you. But I think you didn't get spotting him that time, so you know he's looking away. Might as well just come underneath. And you did. Anyway, definitely a good game in a very difficult position. Getting Artie fire going your way, multiple tanks being ready for you on cap and being forced to go back. So a very tough situation to play it out and to just stay calm and hit your shots. But you did a good job. Bounce 1300 is not the easiest in a 140 in a Clan Wars where everyone's shooting gold rounds. Did almost 5k damage and pulled 6 kills and won the game. So it was definitely a good game. A few things maybe to learn from, but nothing to complain about. Well, hopefully you learned something from this, or enjoyed watching the victory again. If not, well, life is life. Anyway, at that point, have a great rest of the day.